So welcome to Life on Life's Terms. This is, episode 18, I think. This is Justin, your host. And so this episode, what are we talking about here? I forgot. What are we talking about, Ken?
We are talking about achieving goals,
Oh, yeah.
our success, and what we've learned from our failures.
Oh, yeah. By the way, just like I said from the last episode, Ken's in. So how's your week been?
My week's been really good, actually. My weekend was great. My birthday just passed. And
Fuck.
Yeah, yesterday.
Oh, there you go, eh? Happy belated birthday.
Thanks, brother. Thank you. But, I went to Montreal.
First time?
First time being a tourist there, yeah.
Not going to pick up a package, were you?
No, I was strictly being a tourist, and I went with a nonprofit.
Oh, yeah?
Organization I've been working with. You want to hear about it?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, it's called Apathy is Boring.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a spectacular organization. What it is it's two parts. It's a vote program, so it educates and it provides information about where to vote, how to vote, why to vote, and it's nonpartisan. So
let me just chime in here for one question. So is this voting like on any forum, like municipal, provincial, federal?
Yes.
Okay, so to American listeners, convicts in Canada can vote.
Woo!
Yeah. In America, they can't, right? So
we're people too.
Yeah. So ex-convicts are allowed to vote in Canada. I think even when you're incarcerated, you can vote, right?
When I was in, there was no voting.
Were you provincial or federal?
Provincial.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Federal, I think you can vote.
You used to be able to vote for provincial, but they took
Shit,
it away.
Buying that fucking vote, right? Conservatives are coming at you. You want some fucking pops?
Yeah. Free candy bars, vote for this guy.
Yeah, you got it. Anyways, continue on with...
Okay, so there's a vote program, which I wasn't involved hands-on prior, but I will be involved in the next coming year. But Apathy is Boring also has a program called RISE, and it's to engage young adults, 18 to 30, in pro-social change in their communities. So it's a nationwide cohort, or it's a nationwide organization. It has, it just had 3 cohorts, one from Montreal, Ottawa, and Edmonton for this round. But the next round, they're expanding. So it's going to be Halifax, Montreal, Ottawa, Edmonton, Toronto, and I'm probably going to say this wrong. Equalic.
I don't know.
None of it.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Sounds right. Didn't mean to piss any of you off up
I'm
north.
so sorry. So sorry.
No, you're not.
No, I am, because it's not right. I should learn my own cities in my country.
I agree. Sometimes I'm just forgetful.
Anyways,
right?
I'm human.
Yeah, exactly. Is my name Jesus Christ? I don't think so. And they still nailed him up to a fucking cross, right? I mean, shit. So being perfect still doesn't pay off. Anyway.
You're so distracted. You're distracting me. Okay. We just completed a 6-month project based around social inclusion, exclusion, why it's a problem in our cities, and what we can do to address the issue and grow public awareness of social exclusion. It was a successful project for all 3 cities. We each came up with different types of projects. And then we just had a celebration party in Montreal where the head office is. And shout out to the executive director, Karo Lufti. She's an amazing person, and she's organizing this group of young adults to make serious changes in the country. And it's an organic movement, and I say that in a sense because the themes for the projects are going to come up based off of what's needed. And so we're going to go as an organization, and we're going to kind of like fill the voids and cracks to where the problems are in our society. And then we're going to create awareness about it. We're going to ask the right questions. We're going to wave the right flags, and we're going to kind of engage and activate youth and young adults and teach them how they can address this problem, how they can start to even like rally to make a difference in these issues.
We could, just for shits and giggles, feature them next month if she wanted to come in.
Well, she's in Montreal. I could send
She
a
can call
request.
in. She can call in.
She can call in.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
I'm
can-
gonna.
We can talk, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we'll figure something out whenever's possible, right?
Cool.
So, sounds like your weekend was.
It was so fun. We stayed in a hostel, and that was my first time in a hostel. And the hostel there was like a hotel here in Edmonton.
Yeah, it is. Which one?
It was called A Hostel, and it was just like a couple blocks off St. Catharines.
Saint Catherine. Yeah.
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 And it was good. You want to know something I noticed about Montreal is that everybody there is beautiful.
Yeah. There's a lot of women, right?
No, like I just mean
just
like people
joking.
are like put together. Like
Yeah.
They-
Yeah. I mean, I lived in Park X, Little Italy.
Yeah.
Right. And I also lived in La Salle and Jacques-Cartier, which is the fucking slum. Right. It's a rough area. And I also lived in Trois-Rivières, which isn't really Montreal, but it kind of is now, I would guess, like it is, but it isn't. And the one thing that I always liked about Montreal was everybody's bilingual. I like that. And the reason why I like that, like, so for instance, like I lived in Italy for a little while in my lifetime. And I've been abroad. So I've been to like Chad, Africa and Brazil, so on and so forth.
wow.
And so, like, when I was there working, what I always found was that the majority of people are bilingual or trilingual or quadlingular, because when you live in Italy, there are a lot of Germans, and there is also a lot of English, and then there's also a lot of French, and then there's also a lot of Italians, obviously. So people speak everything in order to prosper in business, and it really hurts you.
It really hurt me when I was there just to like socialize. I felt like a primitive mutt.
Yeah.
Only having one language.
It's tough. But mind you, most people in Montreal can't speak English. That's the truth. Most people can speak in English. I'll let you in on an inside secret.
What?
We just don't tell you that we can speak English. And that's so that you feel like a mutt. No, I'm kidding. but it's true. There is a bit of that in Montreal. I mean, like if you go to La Salle area, we don't really speak Quebecois. What we speak is a thing called Joël, which is a lot different than Quebecois. Quebecois is like, that's what the commoners speak, but it's still very segregated in the context of the dialogue or the dialect that we speak in French. Like if you go to Northern Ontario, that's a much different French than the French in Ottawa. And Ottawa is different than Gatineau, which is just across the river. And Gatineau is different than Montreal, and Montreal is different than Quebec City, and Trois-Rivières is different than Gatineau, and so on and so forth. So it all depends on where you are. But for instance, like if you had gone to Notre Dame de Grâce, West End, where a bunch of Irish fuckers are, you would have fit in fine. So what's your favorite part of the city?
Well, the architecture and like Old Town and the cobblestone roads and like the storefronts, it was very cultured. And like I went into this one like cafe, and it was like in like this old bank, and it had like these huge vaulted ceilings that were all like painted fancy, and everything was like brass and gold in there. And like it was like in the 50s or 60s, it was like a bank, but I think like prior to that, it was like some cathedral or something like that. Like it was a real spiffy place. And then they had like a nightclub in there at night, but I just went in there during the day, chilled out get away from the heat. It was ridiculously hot and disgusting.
I have a family member who bought a church. This is going to piss off a lot of people.
I don't know.
I know it right now. So I have a family member who bought a church, and he turned it into a strip club. And he called it the Dirty Nun.
Your ratings just dropped.
Oh, no, I think I really don't care, to be I mean, it is what it is. That's what he did. And it was pretty funny, the town. I'm not going to say what town it was in. I'm sure you might be able to find it. I don't know. It hasn't been in operation for a while, but they were fucking pissed. Like it was a whole new scene then, right? So it sounds like you had a great weekend.
I absolutely did. It was such a huge
Yeah.
experience.
Jet lagged at all?
A little bit, yeah. I'm a little wiped out today.
Really, eh?
Yeah, still a couple days. But just because, like, when you go on holidays, you just want to see everything and do everything. So I was like bare bones sleep, like 3-4 hours a night,
Yeah, yeah.
just to get up and do stuff.
Did you like the market? Did you get to see that?
Like a farmer's market type
Yeah,
thing?
kind of. It's like on Saint Catherine, and everything is, or Saint Denis? No, Saint Catherine, and everything is like under a shelf almost. It's so cool, man.
I've
It's so
seen
cool.
like a glimpse of that, but it wasn't. I think like maybe I missed the time of day that it was going on
No,
or
it was,
something.
that was one of my favorite things. Ottawa has a market too,
Oh.
and I love that place, man.
I seen one place like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was on Saint Catherine.
Maybe I didn't go far enough.
Yeah, well, Saint Catherine is a long
It's
street,
long,
right?
yeah.
Did you get to go to Little Italy?
No, like we were just walking around.
See, Little Italy is Lassard,
Yeah.
and there's about 120,000 Italians that live in that area. It's a huge settlement for Sicilians, right? Like, there's a lot of us there. I remember they tried to bring in Pizza Hut. We fucking blew it up and burnt it down. I'm serious. And the reason was because commercial money was taking away from like the common man.
Yeah.
But the reality was the mafia in that town, because, you know, mafia does exist in Canada. The mafia wasn't able to extort Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
So that's why they fucking blew it up. And not just once, twice. 3 times, coming to 4 times, till Pizza Hut finally got pissed off enough and said, fuck you, there's nothing that's going to stop us from building a Pizza Hut here. It's happening. like that's Montreal. In a nutshell, that's Montreal. Montreal is Canada's New York City. And I would say Toronto right now is Canada's Chicago. Because there's a lot of people dying in Toronto right now. People aren't talking about it, but there's a lot of people dying in Toronto. So how do we want to kick this off? You want to kick this off with failures? What are some of the business things that you've done in your life that could have been contributed to a failure?
Okay, the first legitimate business I ever went into on my own.
Let's go all of them. All in. Everyone. Legit and not legit.
Okay.
All of
Well,
them.
the first legitimate business I went into on my own, there was an epic failure. I bought a hot dog cart. And then, like, it worked good for the first couple of nights. My buddy had a bar on Jasper Ave, which is our main, like, one of 2 main bar drags. And I posted this thing in front of his bar for free. And it made, like $600 profit that night. And I just got my girlfriend to work it, and it turned out really good. And then the next day, I was driving through an intersection way too fast, and the barbecue on the hot dog cart, the welds broke off, because when I went over these bumps, right, my hot dog cart is just bouncing, and I'm driving like an asshole, and the welds broke off. And you know, somebody may come back and get me for this, but you know,
Well, they don't know where you are.
okay. And then, like, the barbecue fell off, and I watched in my rear view as it rolled across the intersection, and this guy in this gold Intrepid just smoked it, and it got stuck under the front of his car, and it totally wrecked the front end.
Oh my God.
And I just left.
Yeah, that's and the only reason why I went along this business thing is because those are aspirations and goals, right? I mean,
After that, I think my hot dog cart might still be sitting in my dad's backyard, rusting away.
really, eh?
Yeah, barbecue
I just got fucked up. Anybody want a hot dog cart? Go to lifeonlifeterms.com. Go to the live chat app. Contact me and I'll link you up with a fucking hot dog cart.
Oh my God, you gotta pay shipping and handling.
Yeah, of
Actually,
course.
yo, I
yeah.
paid $3,000 for that. I'll sell it to you for $500.
That's great. That was the first one, eh?
Yeah.
The first one, my first failure. Oh, there's been many of them. I think one of my first failures was I tried to get a grading company. Oh no, this is a better one. So I would say things out loud because I'm a big enough guy to intimidate a lot of people. And so I would say shit, not thinking that you would capitalize on my business plan, because I would fuck you up. That was like, I was prone to chasing people around desks. That's not a euphemism. I really did that many times in my youth. And so anyways, I was in my office. I was a surveying office, and I started in the area that I was working in. There was many of us who were seeing decks pop up on new houses, but none of these decks had permits. And because they don't have a permit, the municipality, what they say is you need to come up with blueprints, get a permit, or else you have to tear it down and rebuild it. So I was talking out loud saying, well, shit, you know what somebody could do to capitalize on that? Just be a surveyor, draw the blueprints up, and sell the permit as a package for like $300 for all these people. And the town that I was in had a construction boom. We're talking construction boom for housing, like 15 to 20,000 houses were going up. And the lion's share of them didn't have permits on their decks, right? That's a great business opportunity.
That's a good idea.
This fucking prick, this fucking draftsperson heard me saying this bullshit. And I was a land surveyor. So in Canada, what that means is that I can sign a plan. I have a notary, basically. I can sign my name to an oath. I no longer have that, but I did it one time. And so this prick, this fucking draftsperson, he knew that I had a very volatile temper. I was drunk a lot of the time. Like on Fridays, my staff used to bet at what time I was going to be asked to go home. so they would be betting like Friday 10 a.m., Friday 9:45. And the bets got so fucking like so tight apparently. They were betting like 2 minutes and 3 minutes in between each other because there was so many people betting. And then it got down to seconds within the minutes of when I was going to be asked to go home. So I just fall out of my chair on Friday loaded. Like, that's what you're supposed to do in my mind, you know?
In the old you.
Yeah, in the old me. That's the way it was supposed to be, right? So anyways, this guy knew that I was highly volatile, and he knew that if he was going to leave his job for this business opportunity, he needed to do it on a Tuesday. Because on a Tuesday, I was still lucid enough from the weekend that I probably wouldn't jump a fucking desk and beat the living piss out of him. But by Friday, all bets were off because I caught wind of it. I just beat the living shit out of him right then and there, unless I was on the floor drunk. And so anyways, he came in, gave his resignation, and he gave his resignation not in a 2-week resignation. He gave his resignation within 30 seconds. He literally wrote it down on his resignation letter, 30-second notice, and already noted in there that you can keep my 2-week severance pay. I don't want any of it. I understand that there's a fine for leaving or like all this shit. Walks out the door, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I'm trying to figure this out. Like, why is he doing this? And then his buddy comes up to me and goes, he just took your permitting idea. And so now it's a huge company in Canada. Like, it's a huge company in Canada. I was pretty pissed about that. So it was a failure because of lack of motivation. You know what I mean? In my opinion, like, I should have capitalized on that and used
loose lips sink ships.
Yeah. I just thought that I could have kicked the shit out of him. You know what I mean? Like I didn't really give a fuck that people were hearing me. I was just like, who would dare? I guess it was the ego. Ego was the big contributor, right? Like, yeah, right, you're gonna fuck me. Like, I will squash you, you fucking. You know what I mean? And that rocks for brains is not typically who I am. I'm a pretty intelligent person, I like to think. And that was kind of a real knuckle dragger move for me. And now that bit me pretty bad.
Happens
you know?
the best of us.
Yeah, I mean, that's alcoholism and cocaine and, you know.
I had a good idea that somebody stole. I don't know, like, I can't say they stole it from me, but I didn't capitalize on it, and then it came out like a little while after. So I'm sitting in jail, and I'm talking with my cellmate, and we were talking about like how they're like, this is just when like Plenty of Fish started popping up.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, we should create a dating site for inmates. So like girls can write guys and guys can write girls, and then like maybe like in the pen, like lifers can get married in the pen and stuff like that. And it gives so you'd have to have a third party on the street, like build you a profile and use one of your pictures and like relay messages to get the ball rolling. But once it's rolling, it's rolling. And then people, there's people out there that just maybe want to connect with like a very interesting individual or whatever, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
there's
yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
weirdos out there, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
anything's sellable to the right person.
Yeah.
And shit, like about a year later, when I was in jail again,
Because that's the place where we all meet up.
well, for a few years, yeah, that's
Yeah.
I was listening to 630 Chet, and all of a sudden, when it's like Talk with the Pros, that show, that was like one of my favorite shows. And it's like, oh, we're meeting up with this local entrepreneur who's starting this company, Canadian Inmate Connect. And I was like, what? And I go closer to the radio, and then when they explained it, it was the exact same business idea I came up with a year ago in my cell, but never did anything about it.
Oh, fuck.
And I was like, shit, like,
Fucking prick.
oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why what I have learned in the world of ideas with my businesses so far today is copyright, motherfucker, and get incorporated. You incorporate and copyright that son of a bitch. And you make everybody, you give every son of a bitch a gag order right then and there. So when there's any collaboration of any creativity, it needs to be used in the forum that you have created, and that would be considered your incorporated entity. Fuck anybody else. That's just the way it is. You own their ideas. Shit. That's the way that works, right? I'm going to go into some business venture that was successful. So I used to financially back bars, bars who had cash flow problems. And so my yield had to be whatever I had decided would be. We used to call it points or the VIG. And so I gave a local blues bar $800,000 in cash for their cash flow problem.
Yeah.
So then what I ended up doing, oh, there you go, eh? So then what I ended up doing from that, I ended up basically was on staff as a kitchen person or some bullshit. A no fucking nothing job. I had my drug dealer in the back of the bar, of this blues bar, pumping the dope out of it. And then so from there, where I was getting my take from was the illegal gambling machines that were in there. So the lottery corporation would come in to take their claims or whatever, but they didn't realize that only like six out of the 8 machines they were taking the money out of, and we always put 2 on rotation, but all 8 machines were running like all of the time. So I had 2 machines come back to me, and the way how I worked that deal was it was an exposure time. So I was exposed to those machines for like directly cash. So I had to clean my own money and everything. I was directly taking that money. And it was, I think the exposure was 10 months or 12 months or some bullshit like that. Initial investment was $800,000. Between the drugs and the lottery, I whipped out almost 1.4, closer to 1.5 out of a year between the 2 siphons. Fucking mind blowing. I didn't realize that somebody can pull out that much money out of a lottery machine because there's no fucking taxes on it. And if I were to tell people where this place is, I think the machines are gone now because I haven't seen them. Last time I was in there for a pop, and I did drink pop there. I actually performed there. I think the machines are gone now, and they're all legit now. But at the time, that was a fucking take. Like, that was a rake I have never seen before. Like that quick in cash. You know what I mean? Like, sure, cleaning it. But after cleaning it, I got like 1.4, 1.5 after cleaning it. That was my take home. I was blown away. I was blown away when I had seen that. Your success?
I'm going to go with something a little less incriminating. So, where all my good ideas come from, I was sitting in jail.
Yeah. Between jobs.
Between jobs. I was on holidays.
Yeah.
And I just got sentenced by this one judge, and he gave me a ridiculous sentence for possession for the purpose of marijuana.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if I can get anything back for that nowadays.
No.
Okay.
We did a podcast on that for all you listeners out there. Go back in our history and you'll see.
Well, like, what a ridiculous sentence. And the judge was like, it was like 22 months for like my first
Possession.
for the purpose of weed.
Oh fuck.
And like other guys are getting like 3 months house arrest,
Wow.
stuff like that. So in custody, 22 months. Anyways, and I'm sitting there, and afterwards, the judge said, "I'm giving you this heavy sentence in hopes that it changes your lifestyle. So I just want to let you know that if you get caught selling drugs again, it's going to be double." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll take that try. All right." So I'm sitting in jail, and they luckily they had a computer program where I could learn Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So we had to like do a project for homework, and we had to create our own business cards for a company. So after many hours of brainstorming this idea,
Let's just hold on for a second though. So they're getting convicts. They're giving them a glimmer of a hope what it's going to look like to create fucking business cards with the likelihood of their business being drug dealers. So here's your calling card. Instead
no,
of
this
instead
is
of
a
making
good
it like
program. This is a good program. Like it gives us experience that we could use in the real world.
Oh, yeah.
Because I still use Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop
I'll buy
now.
it. I'll buy it. So like they're trying to take you. In my and this is where my fucked up head went, was like they're trying to take you away from putting red lips on a dope bag, saying that that's you, to now a business card saying call game.
So
Call
anyways,
Coke. Yeah,
anyways. Because I wasn't allowed to sell drugs anymore, and there was a heavy risk involved.
Yeah. Evidently.
I decided that a bootlegging fine was going to be minuscule. So I started an after-hours beer phone, and it was a great success.
Oh, I bet.
It was a great success because, like, I just used my transferable skills and changed the scene up a little bit. And I actually, like, handed my card out, and I made flyers and everything. And
What killed you? I mean, it was a success, but what?
why did I stop it?
Yeah.
I stopped it for personal reasons.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I was also, like, because I was staying up all night working this beer phone every day, and then I was trying to go to college, and I was taking human resources. And when I failed my midterms,
Yeah.
I said, fuck it. And then I just stopped it. And I
Yeah.
was, But it worked out really, really good. And, like, I would have $1,000 nights all the time. And I know it's no 1.5 million, but $1,000 a day is nice.
That's good. No,
it's
that's
nice
great
for
money.
when you're young.
Yeah.
And you're just out having fun.
I mean, the only reason why the rate came in off that for the lottery was because it was a connected, like it was a connection. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like it wasn't me just on my own. The other thing I was gonna pop in with is this, but that sounds like did you have fun doing it?
Oh, I had the time of my life doing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of people did you meet?
All people in the industry. So, like, all the strippers and all the bartenders. And, like, I don't know how many times I would have to just, like, pawn the beer phone off on one of my buddies to go out and sell beer because I got sucked into staying at a party for strippers.
Yeah.
Just stay with us.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
so
yeah,
fun.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, my goodness gracious. All right.
So I had one legal success that I thought was pretty good. So I used to have a pimping job, but it was a legal pimping job. Escorting in Ontario is legal. Okay. So I would this was I guess, well, it's a kind of a gray area because I was in Ontario, kind of, if you call like bordering between Ontario and Quebec, Ontario. Anyways, this is what happened. I had this girl who was working for me, and she had a John come in, but we had a camera set up, like a video camera, and the John ended up being an undercover cop. But what the woman kept French, she was French. What the woman kept saying to the undercover cop's John was, "Would you like to be a part of a movie?" So she was posing that he could pay a subscription to participate in a porno movie with her. Wasn't actually prostitution. We dodged a bullet there, and kept all the money.
Nice.
The only thing we hit was
the cop still paid?
yeah, basically.
So the cop paid for sex.
Well, she got to keep all of her money there.
Did the cop pay for sex?
No, they bust you before he pulls his prick out, right? But so yeah, because of that, the only thing that we got was a fine for not getting a licensing permit to shoot a porn.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So the fine for bootlegging, I think, like first time offenders, I think was like $400, unless they changed it. So I was like all over that.
Yeah.
Even like the cops, they put me on bar watch, so that because they knew I was soliciting in all the clubs, and I was at this one nightclub one night, and the cops follow me out. Actually, they escorted me out. They said they wanted to talk to me. I'm like, yeah, okay. And he goes, "So, are you selling beer after hours?" I said, No. I just deliver it. I'm just a delivery service. I don't sell alcohol. I just deliver it for a fee." And he's like, "So you're up to date on your lingo, I see." I said, "Well, you got to be." And he said, "What would you do if I called you?" I said, "I'd bring you beer because delivering is not illegal." And he's like, I was like, "Here, bud, listen, here's my card. I hope to see you soon. And if you call me, I'll give you a discount, and let everybody else know in the detachment. I'll give them a discount too." And then I just walked away. And I had no problems with that.
It's funny. It's funny how savvy our brains become. And that same thinking pathology that we have in those moments allow us to be creative in like businesses on the legit side today. You know what I mean? Like if you talk to anybody who's a mogul in business, and they'll say, "Well, I started many, many businesses and more of them failed than them be successful." I can say that already today. Yeah. I mean, my fucking drug dealing was a failure. Why? I went to jail. Yeah. I mean, that's a failure, okay?
Yeah.
All of my criminal activity, and I'm not endorsing criminal activity on the podcast. What I'm saying is that's where I learned my business savvy, okay? If there's anything that I learned from criminal world, it was, how do I run a book? How do I do accounting? How do I, market my products, so on and so forth. That's really what I learned in the underworld, so to say. So when we're talking about those transferable skills from that world to the legitimate world today, I mean, and I always say this, I trust an ex-convict more than I trust somebody from the business world. And the reason why I say that is this: I'm coming to you telling you that I have a criminal record and I'm ex-convict, which means automatically you are going to look at me with a more scrutinizing eye than if I was just like a business guy. Business guys get away with a bunch of bullshit because nobody's really looking at them. But me coming to you saying that this is what I was, and I'm being transparent to you about my past, but these are the transferable skills I have, makes it that you're probably going to count the cash from the till to make sure that the float is right, like 4 or 5 times, as opposed to the other guy only once. Yeah. And I'm fine with that. I mean, I understand that that's what I'm coming into, but it's my job for that, my integrity, not to be diminished because of you checking over my shoulder more. It's my responsibility to earn your trust. And I think with like regular ordinary schmucks who are business guys, they take that for granted. Whereas like us ex-convicts who are in the business world, we do not take that respect like we do not, when we earn that respect, we do not take it lightly. You know what I mean? We hold that respect within reverence almost. You know, it means a lot to us. And that's something that we don't want to ever diminish again, you know? And these are the qualities that come from having true self-worth. You know what I mean? Like your integrity becomes all. And because of that, like I said, you hold that respect from other people in the community with reverence, right? Would you?
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Like in my own personal life, I know that I have to maintain a certain level of integrity and high expectations for myself to adhere to values and morals, because like in the past I had none of that, and it proved in my actions, and I just need to like redeem myself from myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that like with my everyday actions, like whether it's helping somebody out, giving that homeless guy when he asked me for change and I actually have a couple bucks in my pocket, instead of sloughing him off, I give it to him. You know, It's more than just wanting good karma. It's like I just want to help. I want to give back. I want to build self-efficacy for myself.
Yeah.
You know, I want to know that I'm worth it and I can achieve it. And so that's where my integrity lies right now. And, you know, I'm fixing it and I'm redeeming it and I'm building on it from a shit past.
I think that on yesterday's podcast, because it was a one-on-one, me with the listeners yesterday, and one of the things that I had touched upon was I need to prove to myself that I'm lovable every day. Okay? So we've talked about this many times before about setting up challenges, goals, my personal goals. They mean more to me than anything. And so this word integrity, once we come to, and that's why I said self-worth is the catalyst to that, is because once you know what you're worth and how lovable you are, to be quite frank with you, I mean, I do hold respect from others and reverence, as I had stated, but I do not want to diminish my integrity, not because of my relationship with somebody else. It's because I would be diminishing the relationship with myself, right? That's who I'm hurting, right? So like maintaining honesty, integrity, and all these beautiful attributes that I can hold with other people. That's only a reflection because my inner self, the relationship I have with myself, is the same way. And I've earned that. I show myself that every day, that I'm worthy. I can stand up. I have an attitude that I will not fail. I will not fail. And why won't I fail? Because that's my attitude. Your thoughts are who you are. Your thoughts are what you're going to become. So if you have an attitude that you cannot fail, you will never fail. And failure is only something that is completely diminished to nothing came out of it. I'm a grand optimist. Even when things hit the floor, I still look for something good out of it. And it's taken me a long time to learn that attribute, but that also was something that was instilled in me even from the old lifestyle. Because from that old lifestyle, you know, I remember seeing drug dealers get busted. My drug dealers get busted. My runners would get busted. I'd be like, fuck, that really sucks. But he still owes me the money when he gets out of jail.
Oh, you're one of those guys.
I
fucking hate guys like you.
Yeah, I was, but that was because I was using it. It was only like that. Until when I started using so much I couldn't hide it, right? Because I mean, I'll confess this. I was given enough drugs to fuck up, not to fuck up. I mean, you cannot fuck up 5 keys. You cannot fuck that up. I can, right? But most people cannot fuck that up because there's a difference in the echelons. There are people who have access to drugs that is so much access to that stuff. You can't fuck it up. And really, like, I'll never forget this. I was in a conversation with a buddy of mine a little while ago from the lifestyle from before. And this is what I learned. The people who are in that echelon where you can't fuck up drugs, it's a lost leader, right? We don't make money off dope. I never made money off dope. It was something in my purse that I needed to have. What made me money? Prostitution, extortion, and robberies, all the jobs. But dope itself never made me money. Not really. Not after you pay off all the people, the cops and the fucking everything that you have to pay off all the way through the rigmarole. Your dividends coming off of that investment is so low. And then to try to find a secure warehouse was fucking ridiculous too, because now you always have security. You got to pay that shit. Like it's not like running women around in a legalized prostitution organization. Like the overhead of that is nothing. And here again, these are the transferable skills that ex-convicts have who are in this world of business and money and making money in more difficult ways. The adversity that I was faced in making illegal money is way more than any of the adversities I've ever faced in the legal world. And secondly, the only thing that was truly wrong in my thinking in the illegal way of making money was I thought I could pull one over on the world. That was really the biggest thing for me. I really thought that I didn't have to be some fucking schmuck that pays taxes and votes. Fuck that shit. Look at the money these fucks make. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting mine. When now what I've come to realize, it's about contributing. What can I contribute as a service that I like doing that comes back to me tenfold? Because as a labor of love, again, my attitude, I cannot fail, is 100% in front of me.
Yeah.
That's what matters, right? I don't want to do some bullshit that I don't like doing. Why? Like, you think I'd want to sit here for an hour and talk if I didn't like this conversation? I wouldn't. And I wouldn't expect that listeners would sit around for an hour listening to this shit if they didn't want to speed it up and listen to it either. I mean, that's totally the prerogative, right? That I'm just doing this because I like doing this. This is not about a business venture to make money. It's about a look into a couple of lives of average Joes who are hustling to make it. You know, we do it in an avenue that we like and enjoy, you know?
Well, one thing that I've really learned over the past few years is that when you hold yourself to high expectations, other people sense that energy and that they'll go into business with you as well, and they'll help you out, and they'd like to have you on their team because they can sense your energy. So that's like a big one that I've learned over the last couple of years, is that keeping my integrity high for myself, like without even like boasting about it or whatever, it's like they can just sense your self-worth. Yeah. They can just pick up on your energy, and then as soon as that happens, opportunities fall in front of you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, law of attraction is definitely there. One of the things that like French people were really bad for this, where we just assume things of each other because our language is really built upon that, upon assumptions. It really is. Just I don't want to get right deep into it, but that's what it is. And speaking the language of English, but even in French, it really gets lost in those assumptions, and that's why I'm direct about it. I want to be direct about it so that there's no construing it. You know what I mean? This is what I'm doing. This is what it is. This is the goal. This is the course that I've set about. And if you want to jump on board, let's fucking make it, because there is no failure. There is no failure. It's not going to happen. Why is it not going to happen? Because that's not my attitude. I am not a loser. Winner, 100%. I haven't lost in a really long time.
Well, I don't think there's anything, even There's no such thing as losing as long as you learn. And once you learn something from every experience, it turns it into a positive, and then you're winning.
I think one of the other things too is the only person that you really have to convince in the room that it's going to happen
Is
you.
yourself.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Everybody else is already sold. They're already there.
Yeah.
It's up to you who's got to sell it to yourself, right?
Yeah.
So like, and I agree. Law of attraction. I agree with a lot of that. The only thing that I leave up to chance and fate, if you so call it that, is my higher power to guide me through those things. But he's not there to get me. I once thought that he would do that to me, like when I was. This is going to take a bit of a dark turn, but like some of the abuse I went through as in my childhood, right? I thought that was all attributing from God. And I realized today that wasn't he wasn't attributing any of that. There was the situation that my parental advisors left me in. It wasn't him. It was them. They were responsible for me. God was only there. My higher power, my understanding of my God was only there to soothe me through that afterwards. That's what he was there for. He's there for emotional stability. He's not there to change your physical conditions. I mean, how many times have we prayed for the lottery? Oh, God, please give me the 60 million on the fucking Lotto Max this Friday. Does it ever happen? Nope. Why doesn't it happen? Because that's not what God's there for. God's there to, when you're sitting there crying, going, oh, fuck, today was a shitty day. You can go, thank God I didn't get high. Right? Or thank God I didn't get hit by a fucking car, because it was a shitty day, but at least I didn't get hit by a car today. You know what I mean? Like there's that offset there, right? And so, like I'm saying, my higher power is only there as an anchor in that context. But everything is up to me. I don't need to consult with a priest to go about my daily business. I don't have to do that. Because if I'm consulting and waiting, what's going to end up happening is I'm going to wait too long and the opportunity is going to pass me by. I ask myself only 3 questions. 1, is it selfish? Secondly, is anybody going to get hurt from it? Third, is it of service? If those 3 questions are green light all the way through, off to the races we go. But it's not best 2 out of 3. It's got to be a 3 out of a 3. And if all 3 of those are green lights, off we go, because my higher power is 1, not selfish, nor does he expect me to be. My higher power has never hurt me, and nor does he choose me to hurt anybody. 3, my higher power is always of service for me. So what does he expect of me? To be of service for others.
Yeah.
So if I can maintain that, it hasn't proved me wrong yet. And I mean, I pay the bills. I have a pretty nice lifestyle. I get to get up and work out in the morning and then go about my daily affairs throughout the day and not be beholden to some fucking schedule. Like, I live like a millionaire already. That's how I live. That's what it is. Like, I mean, I'm already living like that. It doesn't mean that financially it's that way. It just means that that's my attitude. That's where I'm at. And I work hard today. Like, I work really hard today. But at the end of the day, I'm never like, oh, fuck, what a day. I'm like ready for tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm ready for it. And it feels great. And I prepare for like this podcast, preparing for this thing. I think to myself, like you and I were talking about coming up with topics. I'm like, fuck, man, topics are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
They're all right there. They're all right there. You say some funny shit. We have a couple fucking laughs. It's good news. It's good times. You know what I mean? We get a little bit of shit out of it. And, the other people that I have on the podcast, the same thing. But really, there's no specificity. And so today was about goals and bullshit, failures and successes.
Failures and successes.
The reality is this is a success. What is the definition of success? It means that you achieved what you're trying to achieve. Well, have I achieved what I needed to achieve today? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do I make money? No. I earn money. I earn money just like I earn how to love myself.
I don't even know if I earn money. I think money just comes.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
energy.
I agree. I agree.
It's like energy. It
Yeah.
just comes and it comes to me, and then I send it out the door in all different sorts of ways.
I agree. I mean, money is definitely like that, but I earn it. And the reason why I say that is because I earn it in this context. I earn it by, one, doing all the stuff that I have to do for myself in order to be in the situation that I'm in. And I also earn it by doing what I do for myself in order to be around the people who reflect what I am. Okay?
Yeah.
Then the next part of earning it is to be the best, most successful, kindest businessman that I can possibly be today. That's earning it. You know how difficult it can be to be honest, kind, and equal that to success. At times, it feels trifling. At times, it feels like, oh, fuck, I could totally twist this. You know, you can't. And you see the other people that are coming around. And it doesn't feel like it's going to be on the straight and narrow. And then that's when your integrity pulls it up. You know what I mean? That's when you kind of pull it together. But there are times when you're like, fuck, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is going to go strange, you know? And that's where we earn it. That, in my opinion, that's where I earn it.
I was in a heated conversation today with somebody that's very close to me who's still involved in a shitty lifestyle.
That sucks.
And they're criticizing me. They're like, you think you're going to go fucking save the world because I've changed my life around? And I responded back to them. I said, I'm not trying to save the world. I'm just trying to leave it better than when I showed up. Because fucks like you are fucking ruining it.
Yeah.
As long as we can make it better every day, that's my, and I find that,
Well, I think for guys like you and I, let's face it, if we're going to be honest and totally transparent, we have fucked up community enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if we're going to talk about a living amends, that's the amends we need to make to community. You know what I mean? That's one of those things that bets us on the side of good rather than bad. Like I was saying, that conflict that I sometimes have, right? And I've been living a good life for almost 5 years now, right? So sure, that conflict happens, but intuitively I think to myself, fuck, I don't want to have to redo all the shit that I've done for community to go sideways. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that's where I earn it, because I have to really set back and think to myself, fuck me, man. I can't go there. I just can't go there. And and the other side of me, talk about God and the devil, right? And it's but it's only a white lie. It's just a white lie. I'm like, yeah, no, that's going to lead me down a real fucking bad way. Right? And I stop. That's where I stop, because everything else that I have done up to this point is a reinforcement that going the wrong way has not given me the dividends that the good way of life has given me today. There's no comparison. Sure, money was in the other side, right? But money doesn't matter. You know, I know today that when I lay down and I go to bed, I did my utmost to do the best thing that I could possibly do today. And I created something, and I was creative, and I earned that. And anything coming my way that are the fruits drawn from that work, that was all earned. Because it wasn't just about sitting there typing shit. It was about keeping my integrity intact while I was doing it. That was the earning. You know, that was the conscious thing that I have to keep on going along, you know, getting up and working out so that I'm ready after I work out to make sure that I'm still on the right path. Getting up this morning and humbling myself before God before going to go and work out. You know, all these stuff, it all adds up. And that's where I earn it. The work itself is not earning. It's all the preparation that I do on the way there. And then in the moment stuff that I do. That's what I guess I mean by earning it. You know?
Yeah. I get it now.
Would you believe that it's almost an hour?
Already?
Yeah.
We just feathered on this subject.
Yeah, I know, right? So I want to wrap this up. but we have a big announcement next week. So I'd like you all to tune in next Thursday, and maybe I'll leave some stuff on my blog, little teasers here and there. I'm gonna fuck with you just a little bit, and you can check out. I don't know. I think what I'm gonna do. So one of the Instagrams is. Why don't you plug yours? Plug yours while I'm looking for mine. What's your Instagram? If you're okay with it, you don't have to tell them.
I'm going to set up a new one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to set up a new one.
Okay, so mine is just967, JUS 967. You're more than welcome to come check it out. You can see what I look like. You see what some of the that sounded so Canadian, eh? You can see what some of the guests look like who've been on past podcasts.
Yeah, eh?
Yeah. It's okay. You Americans can make fun of us.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, it's all good. So you can check us out again at Patreon. So I gotta say this. We're promoting Southside Boxing Legion. 100% of the donations you give us on Patreon will be given to Southside Boxing Legion, and you will be able to see the amount of money in total that has been contributed on their website and Facebook, so that there's complete transparency between the money exchanging from my hands to their hands. One-time commitment of $30 will get you a T-shirt, which I haven't made yet, but it's coming, and then a $5 commitment weekly will give you early access to content. Because imagine we don't edit this, but it is pre-recorded, and eventually it won't be pre-recorded. It'll be real time once we're live on YouTube, which is coming in time. And you can check us out again on whatever avenue you're listening to me on, or us on, which is YouTube, Stitches, iTunes, Google Play, iHeart next month. We're gonna be on iHeart next month.
We're on Spotify?
Yeah, we're on Spotify. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Stitches is the big one, though.
Yeah?
Yeah. Shout out to Stitches. You guys are awesome.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. You guys really helped me out in something that was a really stupid question, and you didn't laugh at me to my face. So I
Just
think,
behind your back.
well, probably, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's their opinion. They're entitled to it.
Thanks all for listening to me.
Yeah. And you guys have a great weekend. I wish you all the best, and we'll see you next Thursday with some announcements. Have a wonderful evening. Bye for now.